a new lease of life in health, education, agriculture, youth empowerment, and rural development sectors. President Muhammadu Buhari, who described the roads as quite symbolic and strategic, commended the Imo State governor for setting ambitious targets, thereby clearly demonstrating his administration's commitment to the welfare of Imolites.
I am delighted to witness this success story. There is no doubt that they would go a long way in making the life better for the people of Imo State and residents and visitors alike. I urge the governor to sustain the momentum and accelerate the pace of good governance.
The president congratulated Governor Hope Uzodinma for his tenacity of purpose, which has seen him doing quite a lot, particularly in roads infrastructure.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to the government and people of Imo State for successful 1 year in office. I pray that you will keep the flag flying.
The inauguration of the project is part of the week-long activities marking the first anniversary of the Uzodinma administration in Imo State. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated outgoing President of Niger Republic, Mahamadou Issoufou, for successfully completing his second tenure and winning the prestigious 2020 Mo Ibrahim Prize for Achievement in African Leadership, describing him as a worthy African leader. President Buhari, who was awarded the highest national award of Niger Republic, Grand Cross of the National Order of the country, by President Issoufou, felicitated with the outgoing leader for upholding the tenets of democracy, improving the economy of his country, and consolidating the good relations that existed between both countries. He said the emergence of President Issoufou in 2011 marked a watershed in the relationship between the two countries as the frontier of cooperation expanded and mutual trust further strengthened. President Buhari urged the President-elect of Niger Republic to build on the achievements of his predecessor in office. The Nigerian president said the highest national award of his country was bestowed on President Buhari because of his fraternity, patriotism, and determination to move Africa forward, starting from the West Coast. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jeffrey Onyema, said the Nigerian president distinguished himself in leadership at both national and regional levels, leaving a legacy of avoiding the trap of altering the constitution to prolong his stay in office. The chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Abdulrasheed Bawa, is reassuring Nigerians that nothing will be left to chance in the renewed drive by the commission under his watch to rid the country of economic and financial crimes, undermining national development aspirations. Addressing newsmen after a strategic engagement with President Muhammadu Buhari, Mr. Bawa hinted that already financial institutions, especially bankers, have been given 3 months within which to declare their assets. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo's report will come in our subsequent bulletins. An extraordinary Security Council meeting convened by Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, has held. In attendance are relevant stakeholders, including heads of security agencies, traditional rulers, and religious leaders. Muhammad Umar Ajingi reports that the meeting, being presided over by Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, is coming on the heels of sustained efforts by security personnel for the rescue of 39 abducted students of Federal College of Forestry Mechanization, Afaka Kaduna, and the 3 teachers of Rema Local Government Education Authority Primary School in Brindingwari. The meeting is expected to come up with holistic ways of ending the incessant cases of kidnapping and other security challenges confronting the state. The Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, says the African Continental Free Trade Area has given Nigeria an opportunity to revive her pharmaceutical industry, occasioned by the gaps pronounced due to COVID-19 pandemic. She was speaking at the Central Bank of Nigeria, where she was received by the governor, Godwin Emefiele, who expressed determination of the regulator as well as government to address inefficiencies that resulted in the closure of factories.
To see that our own domestic manufacturers of pharmaceuticals have the appropriate environment they need. We've now seen what happens. If you have this pandemic and you don't have some ability to provide, you have to wait. Sometimes in a queue where there's supply scarcity. And we've been pushing and pushing through COVAX, but you see everybody is demanding these vaccines. So I think, and medicines, I think we must learn the lessons now, because there'll be another pandemic in the future. What are we going to do now to establish the capacity, reinvite investment into that sector?
We would need the support of institutions like yourself to work with us. We may have faltered in a few areas, I'm not going to deny that. We will be willing to engage with you in areas where we have concerns. And if those concerns are addressed, I want to assure you, Madam DG, that we will work with you.
A related development, the Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, says her office will continue to support the federal government to ensure more medical facilities and vaccines for the country. Dr. Okonjo-Iweala stated this when she led her team from Geneva on a courtesy visit to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Kenneth Nanim reports.
Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala assumed duty as the Director General of World Trade Organization about 2 weeks ago and is on a week walking visit to her home country, Nigeria. The new WTO DG is thankful to President Muhammadu Buhari and Nigerians for the support given to her to attain such position. She pledged the commitment of the World Trade Organization to ensure a review of export restrictions occasioned by COVID-19 with a view to enable member countries have access to medical supplies needed to contain coronavirus.
There were 91 countries at the beginning who had restrictions and prohibitions on export of medical supplies and equipment. We are now down to 59. So we've reduced considerably, but it's still too many in my view. So one of the things the WTO can do is to work with members to reduce these export restrictions.
Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, acknowledged Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala's track records, which brought her to the international scene, and expressed the confidence that she will bring her wealth of experience to bear for the country to benefit in the global trade and investment businesses.
Your tenure will bring succor and relief to countries that are under intense economic pressure, with the budget deficits left, right, and center, with the deficits in infrastructure, housing deficit. We definitely believe that your tenure will bring succor to each and every one of us.
The WTO DG and the SGF were on the same page on the need to initiate policies that will engender good governance in the country. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Moving on now, experts begin assessments of AstraZeneca blood clot reports as Somalia commences COVID vaccine rollout. Details with Obiageli Ugoke.
Experts from the World Health Organization meet on Tuesday to review the Oxford AstraZeneca jab after a number of countries paused their rollouts. Countries, including France and Germany, say they were acting as precaution amid reports of blood clots in some recipients in Europe. The European Union's medicine regulator also met on Tuesday. The union said people can continue receiving the vaccine and urged countries not to pause their vaccinations. Meanwhile, Somalia begins administering COVID-19 vaccines in hospitals across the country. The Health Ministry announced on Tuesday that it started the vaccination program at the Martino Hospital in the capital, Mogadishu. The country on Monday received its first shipment of 300,000 doses of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. Zimbabwe on Tuesday received the second batch of Sinopharm COVID-19 vaccines. It includes a Chinese donation of 200,000 doses and 144,000 doses brought by the government. And this comes 4 weeks after the arrival of the first batch. President Emmerson Mnangagwa was at the airport in the capital, Harare, to receive the consignment. Zimbabwe has so far confirmed 36,504 cases of coronavirus and recorded 1,504 deaths since the pandemic started. It launched its COVID-19 vaccination campaign last month and aims to vaccinate 10 million people. In the meantime, the global confirmed infections tally has surpassed 220.8 million, with more than 2 million fatalities, as Nigeria's 238 new cases brings the total positive cases to 160,895. Abiagelu Goke, NTA News.
The Senate has passed the Nigerian Labour Act of 2004 Amendment Bill for second reading. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports that the bill seeks upwards review of fines in the amendment.
While the Senate has taken various measures to ensure job creation in Nigeria, it has not ignored the need for the protection of the rights of those already in service. The process has commenced with the bill that seeks to amend Nigeria's labor law, which converts increased fines and stiffer penalties for defaulters. The bill, sponsored by Senator Francis Onyewuchi, among other issues, seeks to check unlawful termination of contract.
Fines in the Labour Act for offences relating to Section 21, breach of terms and conditions of employment as it relates to the wage hour, nature of employment, leave, contract of employment, among others. The present fine is 800 naira for first offence and 1,500 for second or subsequent offences. The proposed fine is 500,000 and 1 million respectively.
And he has highlighted among some of the ill treatment of workers that has to do with denial of maternity protection and employment of women, and of course employment of young persons in unreasonable circumstances.
It will also show very clearly that we are very critical of anything that comes in the guise of slavery, because forced labor is what is styled modern slavery today.
I want the review to reflect the realities of what was then when this law was made in the first instance and what is today.
The Federal University of Medical and Health Sciences in Ekiti State Establishment Bill, sponsored by Senator Opeyemi Bamidele, passed second reading.
To offer to the general population, as a form of public service, the results of training and research in medicine and allied disciplines, and to foster the practical application of those results.
Senate concurred on 3 bills. This include the Federal Capital Territory Health Insurance Agency Establishment Bill. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Watching the news on NTA International. Time to go for a break. More stories when we return.
Hey beautiful, your eyes, your smile are all begging me to take you home tonight.
Now reading page 3.
Experience unlimited superfast internet access from Entel 4G. Entel. Live more.
Back. The need to key in science and technology sector into the economic sustainability program of the federal government to support the informal engineering and technology activities has been stressed. Minister of State, Science and Technology, Mohammed Abdullahi, who made this appeal during the opening ceremony of the ongoing 5th edition of the Technology and Innovation Expo 2021 holding in Abuja, said this is imperative at this time when the government is doing everything possible for the survival of the economy during and after the COVID-19 pandemic. The minister frowned that it is unacceptable that Africa, comprising 54 nations with a combined population of 1.216 billion, with all its human expertise, scientists and researchers, is unable to produce a vaccine for its people, yet in this critical time of global health emergency.
Of the National Assembly on the issue of division, revision, and alteration of electoral constituencies in Nigeria. The Commission's discussion paper on the matter is being finalized.
A sincere apologies, as the soundbite is actually on INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, who has been appealing to the National Assembly to conclude work on the amendment of the Electoral Act. Let's move on the news and tell you that the Federal High Court, Abuja, has ordered the service of originating process to the Nigerian Police Council in the suit seeking removal of the Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Adamu, from office. The order made by Justice Ahmed Mohammed was due to irregular service of originating processes on the Nigerian Police Council, the fourth defendant in the matter. Judiciary correspondent Vera Chinwuba reports that the High Court of the FCT also has discharged and acquitted the former governor of Imo State, Ikedi Ohakim, of alleged false information preferred against him by the Inspector General of Police.
A legal practitioner, Maxwell Okpara, had filed a suit challenging the tenure extension of Inspector General of Police by 3 months by the President after his retirement on the 1st of February. The plaintiff is seeking an order of court for Adamu to resign from office, having spent the mandatory 35 years in service. Joined in the suit as defendants are the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Inspector General of Police, Nigerian Police Council, and the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice. When the matter came up for hearing, the plaintiff counsel, Ugochukwu Ezekiel, told the court that he was served with a counter affidavit this morning. Justice Ahmed Mohammed noticed that there was no legal representation for the Nigerian Police Council, while one Adeyemi, whose status was not stated from the record of the court, received the originating processes. The court also observed that the Nigerian Police Council was not properly served with the processes and the hearing notice issued on the 8th of March. Justice Ahmed Mohammed, however, emphasized that service of process is fundamental.
Yeah, we have responded. We have filed a notice of objections. We have also filed on the merit of the case that the tenure of the Inspector General of Police by the provisions of the Extant Police Act is still subsist.
The court was of the opinion that the service to the fourth respondent, that is the Nigerian Police Council, through the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is irregular.
In another development, the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, has discharged and acquitted the former governor of Imo State, Ikedi Ohakim, of a 3-count criminal charge of alleged false information preferred against him by the Inspector General of Police. This followed the notice of discontinuance filed by the police in relation to the matter. Ohakim was accordingly discharged and acquitted by the court in Abuja. Vera Chinwuba, NTA News.
No agency of government has the right to hoard or hide data from the National Bureau of Statistics. This came to the fore at March edition of the Lunchtime Reform Seminar by the Bureau of Public Service Reform. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday reports.
Data, no doubt, has become an essential ingredient in the development process of every society. From all ministries, departments and agencies, desk officers in charge of data and statistics gathered here to deliberate on how to use the individual pieces of factual information recorded for the purpose of analysis to better reform the nation's public sector. Statistician General of the Federation, Yemi Kale, in a message said prompt provision of data to the National Bureau of Statistics in real time will help in repositioning MDAs for improved service delivery.
When administrative data is not available, going for census or survey is very, very expensive.
It was an opportunity to educate data generators on the sensitivity of information needed for administrative data.
By just plugging in, making it available so that at least that data, the integrity of the data, can be ascertained.
MBS to please open up, engage with all ministries, departments, and agencies of government, and provide that needed guidance. This is in line with the President's directive for ministries, departments, and agencies of government to collaborate.
The seminar is expected to help in ensuring better system performance and strengthen strategic management of government parastatals. Adebola, Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has apprehended 2 of its staff for allegedly defrauding Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination UTME candidates with the promise to help them secure admission. Olayinka Ojo reports.
Named and shamed, now it is only regrets for Andy Okoro, a level 12 officer in Delta State Office of JAMB, and Gambo Ibrahim Abba, a level 8 officer at JAMB headquarters Abuja. The 2 were said to have collected the sum of 500,000 naira from parents of 4 candidates with a promise to get admission for their children.
In reality, I gave money to somebody in the admission department
this morning and got me completely into this mess. So I'm so sorry.
They both ran out of luck when one of the parents petitioned JAMB on Okoro's activities, a move that prompted the board to investigate the issue in line with its zero tolerance for corruption.
Anybody who does that will, of course, will be detected. Once that is detected, they will be sanctioned, because we will not tolerate people to drag us into what I believe had been a thing of the past.
Similarly, a tutorial center operator at One Man Village in Nasarawa State, Bayo Olajide, was caught for collecting 6,500 naira registration fees from would-be UTME candidates, even when JAMB was yet to commence sales of form for the 2021 exercise.
Look for students that they come around that they want to do a session that we normally tell them that they should come for the lesson. Then when the session commences, we register them.
JAMB's head of public affairs, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, advised parents to desist from cutting corners as there is no shortcut to success. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
Let's also tell you that the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Malam Mohammed Musa Bello, says that effective information dissemination and feedback are key to the relationship between government and the governed. The minister stated this at the official presentation of the FCT Citizens Engagement Platform held in Abuja. Ifeanyi Ezumba reports.
The world is fast evolving and the quest for real-time and veritable information keeps increasing. It has become imperative for government to create an innovative, broad platform for interaction. It is against this backdrop that the FCT Minister, Malam Mohammed Musa Bello, represented by FCT Minister of State, Ramatu Tijani Aliu, reaffirms the administration's effort at bringing governance closer to the people.
Effective information dissemination and an opportunity for feedback is indeed priceless in the relationship between government and the citizenry.
Permanent Secretary FCT Olushade Adeshola and other dignitaries at the occasion said the platform will enable the authorities of the FCT administration, communication managers and consultant officers to effectively engage with residents and communicate their actions seamlessly.
It's also expected to provide access to first-hand information, breaking news.
What we have tried to do is to cascade the reforms at the federal level to states, federation units, and FCT, which is like a state within the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
I must commend the FCT administration for thinking ahead, for trying to bring government closer to the people, for believing and knowing that the contributions of the people is very important.
It's simple. It's as simple as you just go into your phone on Google, type in the www.myfcta.gov.ng, then you now have all the options.
It is also important to look into the possibility of remote engagement of citizens.
High point was the presentation of gifts to dignitaries in Abuja. Ifeanyi Ezumba, NTA News.
Now let's check the weather prospects for Wednesday in Nigeria and other parts of the world.